Hey, it's Aaron, and today we're going to talk about 8 lessons from Robert Kiyosaki that will absolutely change your finances. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, consider subscribing to the channel because we always talk about content that will teach you how to grow your wealth. Now, Robert Kiyosaki changed my life. I read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, when I was 15 years old. It was recommended to me by my sister, and literally I used the principles inside this book to change the way that I grew my wealth and everything that I knew about money. So let's talk all about his top 8 principles so that you can take it and then change your wealth and your future as well. The first principle that he always talks about is to ask the right questions. So a lot of people, when they're thinking about problems and wealth and asking questions, they never ask the right question. They usually make a statement. So instead of saying something like, how can I afford something? They usually say something like, I can't afford that, right? So making a statement like, I can't afford that, closes the mind down, while asking a question like, well, how can I afford something like that, will open the mind up. When you ask the question the right way, instead of making a closed statement, you open the mind for possibilities and you look for solutions, right? So if you ask the question, what do I need to do in order for me to make more money? Then you can start to think about, well, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, instead of just shutting everything down and not thinking about it at all. And that's what I did throughout my entire life after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is asking myself that question, how can I solve this problem? How can I afford that? How can I make more money? How can I spend more time with my family? How could I travel the world and still be able to earn money while I was doing that traveling, okay? And every time you ask yourself the right questions, that's how you find the solutions to those problems. The second lesson that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki is that taking action is the best experience, okay? So a lot of people think that, by reading more books or watching more videos or taking more courses, they're just automatically going to know more and they're going to be more successful. But the reality is that the only way that you will ever be successful is if you take the stuff that you're learning. You're taking the knowledge that you're learning from these courses, these books, these mentorship programs, or whatever it is, and actually take action on it, right? A lot of people have this fear of failure. So instead of taking action and failing, they don't do anything. And so they think that they know everything because now they've got the information in their head. But until you actually take that information and put it into practice, you have absolutely no experience and you're not going to move forward in your business, right? So what I did was I would learn something and I would implement it inside of my business and I would make a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm human, right? And neither are you. You're obviously going to make some mistakes, but that's okay because you learn from your mistakes. That's the biggest thing about what Robert says. You have to take action. You have to make mistakes. You have to let the market tell you what's wrong with the stuff that you're doing so that you can make those little tweaks and get better and better and better. And sometimes it takes a while, and that's okay. You're not going to be successful on the first try. I mean, it took me 8 years of failing before I finally figured out how to generate a proper sale and be consistent with it. And then I got to over $20,000 a month at that time in my online career, and things started to look really, really good. And then I quit my full-time job in 2019, and the rest, as they say, is history, right? And now I teach people how to do these things. But for the first 8 years, I struggled really, really badly. All right. And so sometimes success does take a little bit of time. I'm not saying that it's going to take you 8 years of failing, but you have to take action in order for you to get those results. And then you can make those tweaks and then move forward inside of your career, your success, your wealth creation, whatever you're trying to create.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So if you want to find out exactly how I was able to get to over $1 million in commissions, I would love to show you how to do that for free. I've got a 6-figure workshop that you can check out if you want. All you need to do is go ahead and click the link below and register for that workshop, and then just check your email. Make sure you check your spam folder because sometimes emails end up in spam these days, and then enjoy the workshop. Lesson number 3 from Robert Kiyosaki is the cash flow quadrant. He talks about this a lot. So, it's the 4 quadrants. You've got the employee, you've got the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor, right? Now, most people start off as employees. That's pretty normal. But the problem with being an employee is you don't want to be stuck on the employee side forever. Because if you're an employee forever, then you're basically trading your time for money, right? You're getting paid a salary at the end of every single month. And no matter how much you work, you're always going to make that salary. So there's no way that you're ever going to become rich, or you're going to become wealthy, or you're going to be able to create any extra time for yourself. So what you need to do is you need to slowly move down to the self-employed. And Being self-employed is great because that means that you have a business, but the problem with being self-employed is that you're a solopreneur, right? And that's okay, but when you're working in the business instead of on the business, then yes, you're making more money, but you're still having to do everything yourself, which means that you don't really have time to do other stuff. What you want to do then is you want to slowly move to the business owner quadrant, where now you've got a few employees working for you, right? And these could be full-time employees that you pay a salary, or they could be contractors that you hire online. It doesn't really matter. Now you've got other people doing the work for you. Now you're working on the business instead of in the business, and that makes a lot of difference for your time because now you've got a lot more time, all right? And then now that you've got a lot more time, you've got a lot more income, you want to move to the final quadrant, which is the investor quadrant, which allows you to take the money that you have and use that money to make more money. And that's how the rich become richer. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to slowly move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant, and that's how you generate a lot of wealth. Now, if you implement this particular lesson from Robert, this will literally change your life. It changed my life, and that's how you can start to generate a lot of wealth for yourself. The fourth lesson is to change your core. Okay, so everybody is born generally very risk averse. That means you don't like risk, all right? And so a lot of people tend not to want to take any risk, because they're worried that their fear of losing money is actually greater than the rewards that they're going to get from money, right? That's just kind of a natural human state. So you have to learn how to change your core. You have to learn how to change your overall state and your appetite to risk, and you have to understand that it's less about emotion and more about logic. Because if you base everything on emotion, then everything's going to be based around fear, and as you know, most humans are fearful creatures, and you're not going to want to take any risk. Now, if you don't take any risk, then you're not going to get any reward, right? You've obviously heard that no risk, no reward, okay? But you can take calculated risk when you learn how to do things correctly, all right? But understand that most people at the core are fearful people. So you need to learn how to change your core so that you can then learn to grow more wealth and do it by logic and less by fear. Lesson number 5 is to increase your financial IQ, right? The only way that you're gonna learn how to manage money better and grow your wealth is to understand it better. So how do you understand wealth and money and finances? Well, you study it. It's very simple, right? Unfortunately, they don't teach this kind of stuff in school, okay? Just because you went through accounting A and accounting B or whatever it is, doesn't mean that you're a financial expert. I mean, I focused in finance when I graduated from Melbourne University, but that didn't teach me anything about real money management. I had to learn all that after I graduated from university, right? So what did I do? I took courses, I read books, I watched videos, I followed mentors, I invested in programs, right? And that's how you actually learn how to increase your financial IQ. And when you understand money management, when you understand how money works, when you understand debt, when you understand how to grow a business, when you understand investing, this is information that will allow you to grow your wealth more instead of just hiding in the shadows and then just letting life happen to you, okay? You need to take charge, you need to take control. That's how you're going to be very successful and protect yourself from all the bad stuff that happens in the world, and of course, getting broke. Lesson number 6, and this is a big one. If you die poor, it is 100% your fault, okay? Let me say that again. If you die poor, it is 100% your fault. You cannot blame anybody else for you having the lack of wealth or money, okay? Now, of course, based on where you're born, maybe you're born in a poor country, maybe you were born into a poor family, that's all stuff that you can't control. But what you can control is what you do with your life and your knowledge and your actions once you become a young adult. So blaming your lack of wealth or you being poor on your situation or your background or the town that you're in or whatever it is absolutely 100% your fault. You have to take ownership, you have to take action, you have to seek out information and people that have the knowledge that you want so that you can then go and take that information and change your life. And that's what I did. I wasn't born into a rich family. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born into a very middle-class traditional Asian family. We went through the 1997 financial crisis. It basically wiped us out, and that was really the catalyst that made me really want to change my life and understand finances so I would never ever have to be in that position again or put my family in that position again, okay? And dying poor was not an option for me, which is why I changed my circumstances by taking the right actions, by learning the right information, by following the right people, and you can do exactly the same thing. Lesson number 7, how well or how smart you were in school has nothing to do with how successful you're going to be, okay? The truth is that most of the people people that weren't very smart in school actually ended up being entrepreneurs. There's so many examples of that, right? There's so many dropouts that are billionaires right now. Okay, now you don't necessarily have to become a billionaire, but just understand that how well you did in school doesn't have any bearing on how well you're actually going to do overall in life. There are a lot of people that were super smart in school but are very, very unsuccessful now, right? There are a lot of people that are very smart that stayed employees, and being an employee, as you already know, because we spoke about the cash flow quadrant, is the worst way to build wealth. If you're an employee and you're book smart, sure, you might make an okay salary, but believe me, you're paying a lot of taxes on that salary and you have no time to spend that money. So what you have to understand is, even if you did badly in school, even if you were a dropout, even if you never went to university, even if you didn't finish high school, what it's really about is learning the information right now and gaining that knowledge and then taking action on that knowledge so that you can get the experience and get the exposure, take on a little bit of risk, and bring in all the rewards that is really going to give you. So again, it has nothing to do with whether you did well or badly in school. It's all about what you do right now with your life. And the final lesson number 8, is how the rich actually spend their money. Okay, so poor people spend their money first and they invest what's left, but rich people invest what they have and then spend what they have left. Okay, so it's a complete opposite, right? So what a lot of poor people do is they spend a lot of money. They live beyond their means. They put money on their credit cards. They rack up that bad debt. They buy all the stuff that they don't really need. They try to keep up with the Joneses. And if they have a little bit at the end of the month, which they normally don't have, then they'll take that money and they'll invest it in learning how to do better with their wealth. But a lot of the times they just make excuses because they say, oh, I don't have any money, right? The way that the rich think is very, very different. They focus on their knowledge first. They focus on their investments first. And then whatever they have left from their investments, that's what they actually spend. Rich people live below their means. Rich people don't buy lavish things that they don't really need. They don't buy huge mansions and stuff like that. Sure, if you have a crap ton of money, then sure, you can do that. But in order for you to really be wealthy, you need to live below your means first. And then take that money, invest it, not necessarily in stocks or funds or financial instruments, but actually in your knowledge, so that you can learn to become better, so that you can learn to understand money, so that you can learn to control your wealth and then grow it, because now knowledge is the most important thing. And then obviously you need to take action on the knowledge that you have, okay? So how rich people spend their money is really, really important. And that's definitely something that I learned from Robert, because I practice something called delayed gratification, where I don't gratify myself to spend money that I don't necessarily need to spend. In fact, I did that for a long time. I still do it now. I still think, do I really need to spend money on something that I don't necessarily need? Do I really want that thing, or can I work with the thing that I have right now and still do very, very well and be happy and be content and be grateful? And 99% of the time, the answer is yes. Okay, so make sure you spend your money in the right way. So there you have it, Robert Kiyosaki's 8 top lessons that will change your finances. Let me know which ones were your favorite ones in the comment section below. Which ones are you going to implement inside of your life? And if you appreciated this video and you got some value, would really appreciate some thumbs ups from you. And if you'd like to know how I took these 8 lessons from Robert and literally changed my life, made millions of dollars 100% online, I would love to show you how to do that for free. I've got a free 6-figure workshop that you can check out. Just click the link below inside of the description box or the comment section, register for it, and I hope to see you there. So I hope you enjoyed the video today and you got lots of value from it and you learned a lot from it. If you like content like this, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you know every time we come up with a brand new video. And if you want, you can check out one of the videos I recorded recently, super fun. You're gonna get a lot of value from it as well, and I hope to see you there. Take care.